Everybody on their feet at the PAV home, the Minnesota Golden Gophers, as the Big Ten regular season comes to an end tonight. Let's take a look at our starting lineups first for Penn State, brought to you by Tachikara.
Take a look at their libero tonight, Kendall White. She's not in the starting lineup, but she's out there starting on the court, coming in as libero. I know coaches aren't supposed to play favorites, but Russ Rose told us earlier that he would not trade her for any player in the conference. She wants to make big plays at big moments.
And the Tachikara starting lineup for the Minnesota Golden Gophers.
Be on the lookout for Alexis Hart tonight. She's a sophomore, but she's really leading this team. She runs such a fast, quick outside set, and she beats a lot of blockers off the ground.
Minnesota coming off an easy victory over Rutgers. Meanwhile, Penn State had to go to Madison, lost the first set to the Badgers, then won the next three to put him to this spot right here. Penn State serving, Kendall White. And it's deep, and a point for Penn State.
We just talked about how Alexis Hart likes to run things really fast, and she ran that a little bit slow, out of her rhythm, didn't get great contact on the ball.
See Franti and Washington at the net. White, Rosado. Hart saved there by Dietering. Franti. Here we go, an early rally. Hart sends it over. Franti far side and deep, it's 1-1. How about the legendary head coach of the Penn State Nittany Lions, Russ Rose, 39th season, 7 national titles, 16 Big Ten championships, and look at all those wins, 1,241.
He's made this team such a powerhouse program.
Minnesota serving, tied at 1, whistle, point, Golden Gophers.
Looks like a double hit call there. I'm seeing some jitters here for both of these teams. Looks like maybe they're both a little bit nervous, need to warm up and start playing their volleyball, get in system and play how they want to play.
Alexis Hart serving, Minnesota up 2-1. Lee first, Dietering, now Washington. Washington with Rosado, can they get it all the way over? The effort is there, but just out of bounds, and as they're flying into the student section.
Didn't win the point, but hopefully they're going to use that to get a little bit motivated. Here you see a great touch by Seliger Swenson. Rosado laying all the way out. Martin trying to get it over, just didn't quite cut it.
Jasmine Martin, the freshman from Brooklyn Park, Minnesota. Same high school, Hopkins High School, as Samantha Seliger Swenson, the reigning Big Ten Center of the Year, and the first ace of the game coming for Penn State. And how about Hugh McCutcheon in his 6th year after leading both the men's and women's USA teams in the last 2 Olympics respectively. His 6th season, this is home now for him. Stuffed at the net, bouncing around, and the Nittany Lions off to a better start than yesterday in Madison.
Washington doing a great job there, controlling the net. Take a look here. Her vision is great. You see her looking at Seliger Swenson, watching where the ball's going in, and then keying in on Lohman. Hands fast and hard over the net.
Over the tape. Seliger Swenson on a platter like only she does. Serving it up for the finish.
That's something I really like about Samantha Seliger Swenson. When she has a hitter that might have been in trouble the play before, she tells them, I'm going to go right back to you. I have confidence in you. Get that one, off your chest, and let's do it again. Lohman gets a great swing there.
Simone Lee, they'll target Simone Lee off the serve. Try to keep her busy. They get Penn State out of system, and then they hammer it at the net.
Reagan Pittman, she's only a redshirt freshman, but she plays like a veteran. Look at how fast she is. Seliger Swenson's a little bit off the net. She knows to step a little bit away. Those are veteran skills, and she's only going to get better.
4-4, Molly Lohman serving. Lee denied, and Minnesota scored 3 in a row. They lead at 5-4.
Great job at the net there by Minnesota. It looks like that was a little bit slow for what Simone Lee likes to run out of the back row. She likes to run really quick, almost like a front row attack. Her timing's a little bit off, and Minnesota did a great job waiting for it.
Full swing from Washington, the tip at the net by Pittman.
A little bit of junk ball we're seeing here, Dean. We're not used to seeing this from both of these teams. Both of these teams are usually in system, 85, 95% of the time. They're a little bit out of system. Minnesota, Pittman again stepping in, showing some veteran versatility and making a great adjustment.
Phenomenal dig by Samantha Seliger-Swenson as well, and all of a sudden, Penn State looks a little rattled here at the pad.
Definitely out of their element. They need to get a good pass here up to the setter and have 3 options.
Minnesota on a 5-0 run, lead at 7-4. Lee first time, slide not there for Washington, and boy, off the serve, it's all about serve and pass, the serve looking good for Minnesota.
That's right, coaches will always say whoever wins the serve and pass game is going to win the match, and right now Minnesota has really got Penn State on their heels.
So Lohman still serving, the 6'3" senior. 4 seniors here on senior day, just low and over the tape. The slide there, this time Washington able to finish it cross court.
That's what we're used to seeing from Haley Washington. She is so good off of 1 foot. She's coming all the way across the court. She had 2 blockers in front of her, a little bit of a seam, but she didn't need it. She hit straight over.
So that stops that 5-0 run from Minnesota. Penn State down 3 here, first set. Once again, right at the net, Pittman tipping it over, got a piece, and it'll fall.
And Seliger-Swenson showing why she's so valuable for this Minnesota team. They're out of system, not a great pass, but she makes it as if they are in system. She's able to get the middle involved even from the 10-foot line. Not all setters can do that.
Stephanie Samity. Washington, trouble there. Pittman, the block cleaned up by Samity. Go far side. Martin is denied. Martin's gonna get a second chance at it, and it goes right through White.
Martin takes a little bit of a freshman swing, I like to call it, on that first one. She's got a big block in front of her, and she takes it right into them, but Seliger-Swenson knows she's better than that, gives her a second shot, and she has a great swing and a great kill.
Minnesota has doubled up Penn State here, 10-5. Russ Rose wants to talk about it. And Big Ten volleyball. How about the Big Ten teams in the NCAA Final Four the last 5 years?
Definitely. We're seeing Minnesota, Nebraska, Penn State a couple national championships to their name too. I mean, year in, year out, the Big Ten is without a doubt the best conference in the country.
Badgers and your Wolverines also in there in the last 5 years. Here's Lee, a little bit too deep. Out of that timeout. It's exactly the play they wanted. Lee on that far side pin, but out of bounds.
Right, Minnesota doing a great job serving, not getting exactly the passes they want, having trouble staying in system for Penn State.
Samity, they're gonna try Lee again, this time dug out by Minnesota. They are ready for everything. Samity over, Washington on the slide, back through. Rosado right through her. Kill from Washington.
Minnesota's going to have to keep playing really great defense like that because Penn State is going to keep coming at them. They have to dig those balls up, give their setter an opportunity to set that ball.
Washington with the kill, Washington with the serve, down 5-11-6. Blocked. Lee standing tall and a double block there with Tori Gurrell.
Really impressive read there by Lee and Gurrell. Seliger-Swenson is very hard to read as a blocker. She tricks a lot of blockers. She had both of them standing right in front of her. Pittman was a little bit trapped, and they did a great job of pushing their hands over the net.
Minnesota was on a 7-1 run before these last 2 points for Penn State. And once again, the tip. How many times has Minnesota's Reagan Pittman with the tip?
Again, something that you don't expect to see from a freshman. She just got blocked, so maybe she's thinking tip, but this is an artful tip right there, right behind the blocker. Blockers are thinking, maybe I turn around. Defense is thinking, maybe I'll get this, and it hits the floor. It's a great play.
We're seeing some quality serves. This one flush, though, at the net there. Well done by Gurrell.
Gurel has a really long arm swing. It's a little bit unusual for a middle. It's more like an outside arm swing, so they set her nice and high, and she's really effective there.
Nittany with the service. Swenson setting it up for Samity. They'll be able to do that one another year as well. Samity again, second time again, saved in the back row by Penn State dugout. Swenson again. This time, Samity on the other side. That was Hart, rather. Swenson! Stuffed by Lee.
What a great rally. I think we're going to see a lot of those tonight. Both of these teams playing a little bit more even now. Swenson usually very aggressive, but she's got a big blocker right in front of her. Penn State does a great job there.
That time Lee with the swinging block as Nittany now serving. Everybody just firing it just inches over the tape and then finished.
I am so impressed with how Penn State is reading Seliger Swenson. Again, you'll see two blockers here, Gurel and Thielen, hip to hip. Alexis Hart has no chance.
Nittany. Lee now cut to two. And once again, Thielen and Gurel go up together.
Alexis Hart having a tough start to the night. This is where Minnesota might start thinking about running her on some different things, trying to be more creative.
All right, now McCutcheon wants to talk it over. Up one to their block game.
Penn State's done a great job reading Samantha Seliger Swenson. Here you see Gurel and Thielen, quick step to the outside, hip to hip, pushing over strong. Alexis Hart, Thielen's got her number tonight. She's putting her right hand on the ball and really closing the net, and it's going straight down.
Penn State on a 7-1 scoring run, matching Minnesota's 7-1 scoring run. Meanwhile, Nebraska smoked Iowa in that first set. So Nebraska doing their part to earn at least a share of the Big Ten title. Seliger Swenson over to Hart. Can't dig it out.
Alexis Hart's gotten blocked a couple times in a row now. She gives a nice roll shot there. And what's great about that roll shot is she took it from a high place. When you take that roll shot from a high place, it's going to drop right in front of the defense. Very effective there.
When you think about the power of coaching with Russ Rose and Hugh McCutcheon after that timeout, McCutcheon of Minnesota gets the point, stopping that 7-1 run. Nittany, Lee. That was in, just finding the corner. Perfect placement down the line from Lee.
Lee's favorite shot is that hard cross court. Here, showing how she can be a little bit versatile, hitting that corner, a great shot.
Samity was hoping that it was deep, but it slid in, and Lee with the point now with the serve. Down one, Minnesota 13-12. Hart with the kill. She's starting to heat up.
I like that swing by Hart. We saw her take a couple into the middle of the block. We saw her do a nice roll shot. Now she's swinging really high. That set's a little bit out of system for her. She likes that fast set, but she takes her time, takes a nice approach, swings really high, and tools the block.
Hart is so athletic. State champion in track in high school, long jump and high jump, as that was deep in Minnesota. Now on a 2-point run. Seliger Swenson with 2 assists already. Picked up there by Samity. Samity will get it back. And fraction on Minnesota, point Penn State.
Looks like when Samity went for the swing there, it hit the antenna, but when I was watching that play, I'm looking at how high she's jumping. Take a look at how high she's contacting the ball. At the top of the antenna is when she's contacting the ball. Usually that's going to be a really effective swing for her.
Kendall White. Finished by Minnesota, Molly Lohman.
Molly Lohman doing a great job of being in the right place at the right time. You see Swenson, she's taking the ball a little bit low, she's off the net, but they have such a great connection. They find each other, and she does a really great job swinging and kind of an unusual set there.
So hard serving, you see Samity and Lohman talking about it. They target Lee again off the serve. Hart will clean it up. Swenson behind her. Samity stuffed at the net.
Franti getting excited on that one. She liked what she did there. See her take a nice step, and she's got her left hand on the ball, sealing the net with her right hand. Does a great job there of pushing over strong.
Hallie Franti in 2014 was the National Freshman of the Year. The senior Haley Washington was the Big Ten Freshman of the Year. And that'll go through White, finished by Minnesota. Talking about great freshmen, how about Samity?
It's like she's not a freshman. She came in so strong. She's swinging very hard, and actually the first time that Minnesota's had a true right side hitter in a while. They were running kind of a 3-middle system with the Tap sisters, so it's nice to have a really strong pin hitter over there.
Once again, it's Franti on a bit of a heater, and she'll serve it now. Got a good one here. Minnesota 17-15 in the first set. Let's see who Franti targets. Just over the tape. Franti first time. Heater and denied. Lee denied, but she'll clean it up. Lee again. Well, you can stop her once, but try to do it twice.
And that's such a difficult play. She did one really big full approach. She's on the net. She's got to get off very fast. Watch here. She's on the ground. She's got to get off fast. And she takes a little half approach, but still brings a lot of power.
Spinning the ball on that kill. Get through the tape. The pancake, but they'll say too late.
Thought maybe we'd see a challenge on that one.
There's a challenge on the floor. They're challenging the down wall.
See the fingers extended there. Well, that looks like a full hand.
I would say that's indisputable evidence that that was an up. Not so sure from that angle, but from that other angle we saw Dean, it looked pretty good.
Alyssa Gaynor, the senior from Lakeville, Minnesota. Look at those fingers extended for the pancake. She knew it.
Everyone loves a good pancake. You don't want to be denied on that.
Absolutely, especially with so much on the line. Hugh McCutcheon calling for the review. It was interesting, Hugh McCutcheon did have a decent take on video review. He said, look, if you win the challenge, you should be able to keep that challenge and have it for later on, not just lose it. Win or lose, you lose that challenge.
Right, they've only got 3, so it makes sense to Hugh that if you make a good challenge that you can keep that and you can continue to make good challenges throughout the match.
Is there any doubt this time here? That looks like hand to me, unless there's something I'm not seeing.
Right. I agree with you, Dean. And something that the challenge review system has been criticized for is how long it takes to get through these calls. So some coaches are not in favor of it. Like we said, Hugh McCutcheon is in favor of it, maybe even kind of expanding it a little bit. But other coaches think it might be slowing down the pace of the game a little bit. Volleyball players are rhythm players. You don't want to get them out of their rhythm.
So they're going to say inconclusive, and Hugh McCutcheon not happy. And dare I say, I might have his back on that one.
We're not necessarily looking at the same footage that they are, but from our angle, it looked pretty obvious.
Penn State, after getting the benefit of the inconclusivity, if I don't know if that's a word or not, but they come back with a point here, 18-17. Penn State on a 4-0 run. Franti. Seliger Swenson behind her, and Samity right through White. And you said it earlier, she is so high up in the air on that big swing.
I know, take a look here. You've got a great pass from Gaynor, and it's such a fast set, but it's also high, double dangerous. When she's running it that fast, very difficult for the block to get their feet there and stay stopped.
Excellent point, Beth, to point out that pass, finding Seliger Swenson. That's so important as Lee goes deep.
It's unusual for Penn State to be out of system as much as they have been, and Lee usually running a fairly fast back row attack and also a fairly fast front row attack, and she's having to slow down her rhythm a little bit, and that can really throw a player off.
Samity serving, Minnesota up 1, 19-18, first set. Trying to sneak it over there was Weiskircher. Lee with the tip. Martin laying out, but point Penn State. Lee, little finesse.
Not what we're used to seeing from her. Yeah, she's got a lot of shots. She has a lot of shots, and yes, she can mix it up. But usually we're used to seeing her slam it on the 10-foot line, hard cross court. So it's nice to see her that even when she's a little bit off, she's not having her best day, that she can still be effective for this Penn State offense.
So after 2 sets, Nebraska doing their part to earn a share at least of the Big Ten title. 18-1. Martin cleaned up. Weiskircher, now Dietering. That one looked like it was going to go deep, but Rosado kept it in. Martin again. Franti and Lee in. Kill for Simone Lee. That's her 4th.
Great job by Simone Lee there, getting in the positive, but I love that set. Take a look at Weiskircher here, and you also see Gurel going up in the middle, holding a blocker, and so that Reagan Pittman can't get all the way over there, and Lee's got a great shot at the court.
Simone Lee in rhythm is just fantastic. She saw that one coming, flying high in the air. Big point for Penn State. Barn burner here at the PAV, #1 Penn State leading Minnesota 20-19 in their All-American. Simone Lee finding some rhythm.
Definitely, it's not been her best night. She's only hitting 83, hitting 326 on the season, so not her best night, but when she's in rhythm like you just saw there, she can really put it down. She has a lot of shots.
Known for that cross court, you saw that line placement and just went down the middle. This first set has had 2 7-1 runs. That's right, Minnesota on a 7-1 run, Penn State went on a 7-1 run, and now Penn State leads at 21-19.
Nice little play there at the net by Dietering. Those are the type that you have to put away. You can't let those go. She does a great job getting up, putting it down strong.
That was a tip to the cap for what you talked about her in the open. Yeah, she can set a pretty good ball, but she can also finish it at the net.
I've never seen a player run a 6-2 and then stay in the front row and hit. It's really unbelievable.
Seliger Swenson with 10 assists already in double digits. Laid it out for Samity, dug out though by Penn State. Seliger Swenson again for Samity. And in for the freshman, Seliger Swenson. I'll tell you, the inside set is on for #10.
That's such a great play. They're in system. This is not a last-ditch effort back row attack like we sometimes see. This is an in-system play. She's running it, jumping from behind the 10-foot line, landing well in front of it. It's almost like it's a front row attack.
3 kills for Stephanie Samity. 11 assists now for Seliger Swenson. Barnes off the bench to serve. Once again, Simone Lee gets them moving. They can't get it over. Another kill for #22.
Back in the match, number 92, Heidi Gill, back to
Simone Lee is one of those types of players that can take over a match. If Minnesota wants to keep her slowed down, they're going to have to get up a big block in front of her.
Hart is blocked at the net. Rosado, Samity right through Lee, right through Gurel, and a point for Minnesota, a big one indeed.
And it didn't really look like it, but that's a back row attack. Again, see her jumping from behind the 10-foot line, landing well in front of it. Such an aggressive play, and using her no matter where she is on the court. She's not just going to score points when she's in the front row, she's dangerous in the back row too.
4 kills and 2 digs, using all of the tape, and with that power getting it over. So it was less about going through Lee and more going through the tape. Here's Lee denied.
Just what what I talked about it a second ago. Lee trying to get a little bit hot. Minnesota needed to put a big block on her, slow her down a bit. You saw Lohman out there camped, read the set, camped out there, hip to hip with her pin blocker. Great job pushing over.
Both these teams have that senior leadership over the years. Simone Lee, Molly Lohman, these two seniors, one last shot at each other.
Definitely, and I like what Coach McCutcheon said to us earlier, Dean, that Molly Lohman is a leader from a place of authenticity, which I think is something really interesting to say, is that her leadership is coming from consistency, it's coming from experience, and it's coming from a true desire to be there for her teammates.
There's the Minnesota seniors. Boy, it's so nice to see Maddie Beal up on that list as well. As you know about Rosado, Molly Lohman getting it done, but how about Maddie Beal? She got to start. Samity didn't even start, and she was on fire in that first set Friday night.
Yeah, and one of the co-captains of this team as well, a great senior leader. And here's Samity doing a great job from the back row like we've talked about, which is not a last-ditch effort. This is a part of their offense. That's an in-system play. And then also in the front row, see how high she's taking the ball. Seliger-Swenson gets her a fast set. Seliger-Swenson has a high contact, so she's able to get it to her fast and high, and she beats the blockers almost off the ground.
Samity from the back row, 4 kills and 4 digs.
Playing 6 rotations as a freshman is a big load to take on. And not only is she playing 6 rotations, she's offensive all 6 of those rotations. Showing a little confidence there too.
She was the first one to give Maddie Beal high fives as well, not getting the start on Friday. Tipping her hat to the senior Beal. There's Samity trying to keep it alive. Great effort, and kept alive. A free one, though, for Penn State. Let's see if they can take advantage. Cleaned up again. Effort there. One more free one for Penn State. Second opportunity. And denied. All-out effort, and the PAV is rocking.
Wow, this could be a turning point for this set, definitely, Dean. Rarely are you going to see a team be able to give Penn State 2 free balls in one rally and defend against both of those free balls and come out with a point. Very impressive, and you see the crowd is rocking, giving this Minnesota team some momentum.
Because they get it. This is an educated crowd, right? They appreciate great volleyball.
Minnesota fans know volleyball, that's for sure.
Rosado, her parents are here. First time they've seen their daughter in quite some time, coming over from Puerto Rico. And Lee with the finish there. How about the effort here for Minnesota?
Take a look here. You see Samity getting a great touch. Rosado laying all the way out. She has such great hustle. And then again here, Thielen going back for the slide. Almost the same play. Samity with the dig. And then finishing it with a great block. Lohman a little bit late. She probably wishes she's pushing over a little bit strong to get that textbook look, but it still worked.
Speaking of Lohman, the slide, Seliger-Swenson, but not in. Boy, Seliger-Swenson, that was the perfect service, but Lohman can't finish, and Penn State now serving for set number 1. Penn State set point. With the serve, Hart, and in. Hart painting it inside the line.
That is a textbook out-of-system play. Hart gets the pass, takes her out of system. She gets up, gets a good approach, higher than she likes it, but she controls the ball and finds the court.
No surprise they were out of system. That serve from Claire Powers off the bench was smoked across the net. Seliger-Swenson now serving, 24-24. Franti, excellent dig. Seliger-Swenson will clean it up. Stuffed. Lohman first time. Now Samity with the point, and Minnesota with the lead.
Both of these teams playing great volleyball. Started out with a couple jitters, some errors. Now they are both on their game, serving tough, getting the passes up to their setters and putting away strong swings.
Seliger-Swenson, 13 assists for the Minnesota Golden Gophers. Penn State, they were serving for the set point. Now Minnesota's serving for it. Dietering, inside set, crushed by Gurel.
Probably not the play that Minnesota was expecting. Gurel doesn't get the ball a whole lot. She's only got 100 kills coming in today, but when she does get the ball, she's very effective, high hitting percentage. I like that play by Penn State.
Kendall White, speaking of good serve, she took something off of it that time. Seliger Swenson, picked up by White, Dietering alive. Deep Franti, Seliger Swenson with the dump, but red. Franti denied, and point Minnesota. The block by the Gophers.
Samantha Seliger Swenson is going up and saying, "Thank you, blockers, thank you." The crowd was not happy about that little set overplay. When she's got these great hitters, you like to see the setters set the hitters. So she's going up to Molly Lohman and saying, "Thank you." Molly Lohman says, "No problem, I've got your back." She's that senior leader.
Yeah, usually when Seliger Swenson tries that dump, she knows it's open, but that time she was denied, but great call, Beth Karpiak, to get another chance. Second set point for Minnesota here in this all-important first set. Dietering again! Inside sweat. Now it's Washington's time.
I love that swing by Washington. This is something that I like to see middles try to do, and she has mastered it. It's a slide approach along the net. See her coming in through the net. Molly Lohman can't even see her. She's too close to the net. You lose sight of her, and then surprise, big swing. Love it.
Weiskircher, part of this 6-2 for Russ Rose, and Samity tools it for the point.
Big swing and a big play. Finds the outside hand there of Franti. Franti not quite pushing over. She's able to tool the block.
You want to hear it get loud. Minnesota serving their set point for the third time. Franti, ooh, that may have been deep. Tapped over, crushed by Dietering. The dig deep, but Dietering gets a second chance at it. What a great point for Dietering of Penn State.
I love her in the front row. She's a setter by trade, but look at her get aggressive along the net. Couple great digs by Minnesota, and Dietering puts it away with the left hand and then gets a second shot at it.
Gainer had that first dig. Speaking of great digs, there's Kendall White. Lee was flying high. They stay with it. Kind of an easy one. Inside set, dug out again. 27-27 first set. Penn State and Minnesota. Samity denied by Lee. Kept alive. A 3-1 for Penn State. Washington calling for it. Oh my!
Gene, I'm watching this rally and I'm thinking to myself, who wants to win this point? Who wants to win this point? And Haley Washington showed she wants this point the most. A great scrappy defense there by Minnesota. Washington again with that slide approach along the net. Two blockers, but they aren't able to close. Big swing.
How about Washington pumping her chest down the line, and Penn State has won the first set. Back and forth we go, but the #1 team in the country, knowing that Nebraska has already earned a share, they win that first set 29-27. We got a good one here at the PAV. We knew we would.
Been able to hold teams down and really come into their own, and one of the big reasons we saw at the end of that last set was because of Haley Washington. She's doing a great job leading this team and being very aggressive.
What a season indeed. How about that first set? 12 ties, 10 lead changes. Minnesota actually was serving for the set victory 3 times, but Penn State getting the win 29-27.
Minnesota putting up a great fight in that first set, but maybe, Dean, we're seeing a little bit of the freshman inexperience. They've got 3 freshmen that are playing big roles on this team. Those tight end of the set situations, maybe they're a little bit tentative, and we see Penn State still taking very strong, aggressive swings, knowing how to do that, being in these situations before and having great experience.
So Simone Lee with 6 kills for Penn State. Stephanie Samity with 6 kills for Minnesota. But that first set, back and forth they go, but Penn State leading 1-0 through the first set. Let's see how Minnesota responds. How about a service ace, their first of the game.
I was just looking at the stats, Dean, and noted that Minnesota didn't have any aces in that first set, and that was surprising to me. I thought they served really tough, so stats don't always show you the whole picture, but there's Swenson coming out very strong, aggressive, going after Lee, getting an ace.
Dietering. Boy, that serve kind of took Thielen, her body backwards, but she still was able to find the hole in the defense for Minnesota. Russ Rose with some instruction.
Heidi, another one of those veteran seniors on this team, started as a middle, has switched over to the right side and been a great addition over there.
Dietering going up with Washington. Back row Lee, but not in bounds.
Wow, that's so impressive to watch. Like you said, just missed it there. But that's something she should feel good about. Get your head back in the game, get the next one, it's gonna be in.
So Hart will serve. Minnesota up 2-1. Target Lee again, Washington. Dug out by Minnesota. Franti dug out by Hart. Seliger, Swenson, and Martin talked about some of that freshman youth there for Minnesota, right there on display for Martin.
Right, and that's what you're seeing. That's a tough set. You see Seliger, Swenson bumping it up. Very difficult for her to get.
Take a look at our State Farm State of Success. Look at that. Franti, Washington, Lee, Dietering, Thielen, Pierce, who is outstanding off the bench as well. 2,080 career sets played combined. Martin, the freshman, dug out by White. Lee, and remember that dig from the libero White.
Again, we've talked about Kendall White a little bit at the beginning of this match. This is a player that Russ Rose would not trade for anyone in the conference, and that's why. She wants to make big plays in big games, and she's going to be aggressive, taking quick first step to the ball, and she's having a lot of success.
Boy, even Weiskircher, though, then just popping it in the air. There's White again with the dig. Weiskircher again over to Dietering. Both setters in this 6-2. Weiskircher. Lee goes with finesse, handled at the net. Washington, Weiskircher, Lee again. No finesse that time. No thank you.
That's the Simone Lee that we're used to seeing. She's taken a lot of swings and putting it away on her favorite shot, that hard cross-court shot landing right about at the 10-foot line inside the block.
Simone Lee, 8 kills to lead all players. Nice and easy for Samity. Seliger, Swenson.
I like that shot by Samity. Not her typical big bang, but what she's getting better at, something that Coach McCutcheon has been trying to work with her on, is hitting the shot that's presented to you, not the shot that she wants. So maybe the shot that she wants, that she's worked on in high school, is that hard cross, but she was given line there, and she makes a nice aggressive play.
Washington right down the middle, and Washington with the kill. She's got 6 kills.
Also hitting 400 on the night, so pretty effective.
She'll go down as one of the all-time greats for hitting percentage to ever play the collegiate game. And now Washington serving. Samity right through Washington.
Samity again hitting that line shot. Their block is giving her the line, and she's going to take it.
Samity basically saying, look, I know tonight's about the seniors, but I'm ready for the moment. She's got 8 kills to tie Lee.
Yeah, she's leading the Big Ten in kills per set. Kills per set.
Lee was a little bit off balance there. Martin denied again. And that's Dietering, far side, going up at the same time with Gorell.
Take a look at Abby Dietering here. She gets her feet stopped. Gorell's able to close, gives her a nice platform to get up against, hip to hip. And they get a great block into contact.
Rare service error. It's the first one of the game. 2 service aces for Penn State, 1 for Minnesota. And it's Penn State 6, Minnesota 5. Lauren Barnes off the bench for Hugh McCutcheon. Lee having a 2 to block and earn the point.
Minnesota's been going after Lee and serve receive all night, and they've had some success, but their Lee showing that she can do it all. Pass, get into rhythm, and still have a great swing.
Russ Rose saying in 40 years of coaching, he's never seen a player improve more year after year than number 22. That's a big statement from the legendary coach. As finished there by Hart.
Alexis Hart showing that she can compete with these Penn State hitters. She can also hit in front of the 10-foot line. Great, very quick set. This is what she's used to running, and you see her put her thumb down, and that's what creates that sharp angle on the ball.
Minnesota, the master of the quick set. They're all about speed under Hugh McCutcheon. Inside set, Dietering on a platter. They block together. Why not set it up together for the finish?
Great connection there with Burrell. I like how she's running that quick approach, but she's running it from behind the setter. Usually you're running that quick approach in front of the setter. If you run it from behind, you usually kind of fool your blockers, and you also get that great angle cross court with a lot of power.
Perfect placement by Molly Lohman, the senior who started hot in that first set.
A little bit of off speed, but style points don't count. In volleyball, she's able to hang up in the air, use her long, big jump, and still make a pretty aggressive play.
6'3", Molly Lohman. Franti, Penn State out of system. Seliger Swenson handled at the net. Washington. Back row Lee. Seliger Swenson. Rosado for Samity. Cleaned up by White. Dietering. Far side and out of bounds. Just a little bit too strong there for Thielen. So Penn State winning that first set 29-27. Both teams went on 7-1 runs. 12 lead changes in that first set, and only fitting the second set tied here at 8. Lee, first time. Franti. Rosado. A rare miss set there by Seliger Swenson. Samity tips it over and denied. How did Minnesota keep that alive? The effort points for Minnesota, they should get double points.
Sure, okay. Let's give them to them. Great job here. Couple digs, great reaction play. Dietering gives Thielen a great set, but their block is there. Hart pushing over strong, and they're getting some momentum.
Minnesota's made a lot out of nothing here in this one.
Yes.
Pad loves it. Inside set for Washington. Boy, Washington right in front, in the middle, on the M, has been efficient as always.
Right, she's doing that slide approach that I like, where she takes a step towards the net, then runs her approach along the net, which makes it really difficult for blockers because she's got a great angle cross, and she's also known for turning it back, and so she's got all her options available there.
Samity
has been liking that line shot. I'm surprised that Penn State hasn't adjusted, maybe rotated their block over, brought the defense in. We'll see if they can adjust to that. See here, Swenson gets her all the way out to the line. A little bit of a line, a little bit of hitting over the block on that one.
Samity is a handful. She's got 9 kills. Simone Lee also with 9. Who will be the first player double digit? And how about the class right there from Weiskirch?
A little bit of a surprising play. You don't really see setters that are in the 6-2 in the back row there putting it over on the second ball, especially when you have hitters like Penn State does. But that's a very smart play. She must have seen in her peripheral vision that the defense was on their toes, and she puts it right in front of them.
Samity red there. When Lee and Washington go up together, that is power.
Right, not much Samity could do there. She's got a very tight set, unusual for Swenson to give her something like that, and she's got 2 big blockers right in front of her. She swings hard, and the ball goes straight down.
Service error for Franti, second service error. You think about this, we're 11-11 through the second set, only 2 service errors. The serving has been phenomenal for both teams.
Both teams have been out of system a lot, and that's because of the serving.
Lohman. another kills. Washington has 8.
Washington doing a great job in front of the setter, hitting both angles. You see here what she likes to do is bring her arm across and hit it back towards that right back defense. I wouldn't be surprised if we see Minnesota starting to bring blockers in to help out on that quick attack in front of the center.
Washington just delivered Tachikaro right into your living room right there. Samity. Lee with Garrell. Boy, that left hand of Dietering. It's so deceptive, but Minnesota picks up the point anyway.
Minnesota's defense is keeping them in this game. Before the match, I was thinking that the key to this game for Minnesota would be to win the easy points. Don't let Penn State get any easy points, but the key for them right now is playing fantastic defense and really grinding it out.
Seliger Swenson with 5 digs, perhaps none bigger than cleaning up that left hand from Dietering. Right hand, though, of Garrell with the kill. Samantha Seliger Swenson, always with pinball machine type numbers, 20 assists, 5 digs. Lee, she saw Seliger Swenson jumping early. White pops it in the air. Hammered far side.
Great poise by Kendall White there. She steps up, takes the second ball, gives Thielen a great set. Thielen's able to take a nice strong swing. She struggled a little bit over there on the right side, but she's able to swing high and hit inside block.
Second kill of the game for Thielen. Look at Dietering with the service ace, spinning it just over the tape.
Right, spinning it over the tape, then dropping it. Doing a great job. Minnesota's going to take a timeout.
Big Ten regular season finale. And don't forget about your BTN Plus action on your BTN To Go app as Nebraska with a 2-0 lead over Iowa, up 20-19 as they look to secure at least a share of the Big Ten title. Penn State trying to do the same at Minnesota. Penn State with the block at the net and a 16-12 lead.
That's discipline there by Garrell. Swenson is almost on her knees here, and she sets it up to Pittman, which I like, but it's an unusual set, so you'd think that Garrell would kind of lean out to the pin, but she stays disciplined and is able to get a great block.
Samity able to stop that 4-0 run from Penn State.
We've talked about this before, Dean, but it's worth mentioning again. Her consistency as a freshman is unbelievable. She's working so hard. She's playing 6 rotations, and she's offensive in every single one of them. It's a lot of pressure, and she's handling it really well.
So Minnesota gives up another point, 17-13. They stop that 4-0 run, but Penn State comes right back. It's Tori Garrell.
She's having a great night. She's coming into this match only with 100 kills on the season, and she already has 5. She's hitting .833, really strong for Penn State.
Simone Lee. Hart. Well, we saw Lee in rhythm. When you see Hart in rhythm, it's a beautiful thing to watch.
Both very talented players. Lee, a senior with a lot of experience. Hart, a sophomore, still has a huge upside, and she's swinging really high.
So Penn State looks like they're going to challenge. A shot from Alexis Hart, a sophomore from Kansas City, Missouri. Hugh McCutcheon wants to know exactly what the challenge is.
Yeah, and she got it off.
Looks like they're challenging whether that ball was in or out.
Lee let it go and looked like it was a nice reaction there from Kendall White, the Penn State libero. But then there's the question of whether it was touched at the net as well before it got to Lee. Goes through the hands, Lee backs off of it. Line judge right on it.
Yeah, line judge has a great angle there. Nothing blocking the view.
Boy, he may have hit a finger, though, as well, of Tori Garrell. And the line judge sitting right on top of it, so
I guess that this call is going to stand as an in call.
how about that shot, though? How about Russ Rose?
That's his style. You see Hugh McCutcheon in with his team. Russ Rose, a little bit more casual, sitting on the end of the bench.
39th season. A point for Minnesota. Russ Rose doesn't like the final decision, but he'll get an explanation. Salima Rockwell, who starred for Russ Rose. 1993 Big Ten Player of the Year, Rockwell. Went to Texas as an assistant coach. Comes back to her alma mater. What a nice addition.
Should have the TV cameras.
So here's Rosado. As we mentioned, her family is here tonight in the PAV. You know, from Puerto Rico. They had to deal with the hurricane as well. Penn State now building on that lead, and Garrell, she deserves some high fives. There's Rosado. There'll be a lot of emotion with her family here. There's Rosado. Samity just over. The ball sitting on top of the net. Samity again. Lee high in the air. Tough ball to handle. Hart will clean it up. Point, Penn State.
Haley Washington showing why she's this veteran leader on the team and why she's got such a high percentage, a high hitting percentage.
14. Penn State winning that first set. Point out of bounds as Hart able to tool the block. Nope. Say it was inbounds. No. I called that right the first time. It was a point. Got a break here. Seliger Swenson already went back for the serve. And they may take a look at this one as well. So Penn State gonna challenge out here. Let's take a look at it.
The call on the court is out. Looks pretty clear there that that is the correct call.
I agree.
Russ Rose, though, taking this opportunity to come up off the bench and chat with his team.
Didn't take long that time. Seliger Swenson will go back for the serve. Russ Rose wondering if there was a camera there or not. 39th season at Penn State, 7 national championships, going for his 17th Big Ten title. Quick set and a quick kill for Minnesota.
Seliger Swenson showing a great connection she has there with senior Molly Lohman. She's off the net, meaning Molly has to intuitively take a few steps away from her. She wants to form a triangle between the setter and the net, and they find a perfect connection there. It's a very difficult set, but they make it look easy.
24 assists for Seliger Swenson. Dietering denied by Lohman, and here comes the Minnesota Golden Gophers. We showed you the effort coming off the break, and here's the thing, when you extend all that energy and you find yourself down, it could be a backbreaker, but Minnesota's using that energy, using the atmosphere here and staying in this one.
Right, that was a grit point for Molly Lohman. She was late, didn't really close, but she gets up as fast as she can and pushes over.
1917. Look at Washington. Thought it was going to be ferocious. She saw the double block coming up and over.
she's able to have success on that tip because she's been running that slide in front all night, and she's been hammering it both cross court and taking it back across her body. And so the defense is on their heels waiting for that hammer, and she has a nice finesse shot right over the block.
Seliger Swenson again. So quick for Hugh McCutcheon. Off of Lohman, point Penn State. And in Minnesota, they claw back, and then talk about breaking your heart. Penn State will do that to you.
Definitely, that's a tough shot. It's right over the block, so the block thinks I need to turn around and play this ball. But what really needs to happen is there needs to be communication. The defense either needs to tell the blockers, take it, I'm not there, or I'm here. Don't take that ball. Molly Lohman, kind of a reactionary play there, hits it up, and unfortunately she loses that one for the team.
Meanwhile, the Nebraska Cornhuskers already up 2-0, match point to win at least a share of the 2017 Big Ten title. And the Cornhuskers will earn a share.
Wow, great season by Nebraska. They've really done a great job again. Given Penn State their only loss on the season, so if it comes head-to-head and Penn State gets a win here, they'll share the co-championship. Two well-deserving teams.
So, getting it done against the Iowa Hawkeyes. And here's the thing, we know what's at stake. We started the show talking about it, but when you talk to Russ Rose and Hugh McCutcheon, it's almost like the NCAA tournament's already started because they're playing for seeds. They're playing to get a good draw where they can rest some players and get through those first couple rounds and ease in. And he said you can finish 6th in the Big Ten any year and still win a national championship, and he meant it.
Definitely, that's completely true. We talked about earlier Michigan, finishing lower in the Big Ten a couple years back and making it to the Final Four. So that can definitely happen.
Perfect placement.
Alexis learning to be more of a leader on this team. She's only a sophomore, but she started her whole freshman year, and making shots like that's what's going to make her a leader. Hugh McCutcheon's kind of mentality for this team this year is to handle their own stuff. That's the best way to be there for each other, is to play good individually.
How quiet did the Pav get for the service from Hart? 21-18. This point's so important. Rosado for Samity. Point, Minnesota, 21-19.
I love listening to this crowd. You can tell by how they make noise and how they react to plays that they know volleyball. They're looking for calls from the refs. They know something good when they see it. It's a really great atmosphere to play in.
White's gonna need to dig in here as Hart serving again. The first time lead back row, cleaned up by Samity, saw it coming. Seliger Swenson over to Martin. Franti tools the block, and Franti with the kill.
Good swing by Franti. The block's not quite formed. They don't have their feet there, reaching over a little bit late. You see Lohman trying to close it. She does a great job tooling the freshman there.
So Franti will go to the bench. Remember, the National Freshman of the Year in 2014, the same year that Haley Washington was the Big Ten Freshman of the Year. Down the middle, Lohman. Lohman's got to put that one away, I think, because Penn State will make you pay, and they did it right there.
Definitely. Dietering, we talk about her hitting in the front row, but what's great about her also being in the front row, besides her hitting, is that when Weiskircher takes the first ball, Dietering can take the second ball, and she's not a right side that's stepping in to take a second ball. She's a setter that knows how to play a second ball, and she takes a nice aggressive play there, getting it over the net.
Keaton Holcomb, defensive specialist, off the bench for Russ Rose. She'll earn the point.
Gotten a little bit quiet in the pavilion.
Set point for Penn State here, the second set. They won the first one, 29-27, after getting through 3 set points for Minnesota. Now, the service error for Penn State. That's the 4th, only 5 in the game so far.
Entering match number 5, only
Minnesota serving. Set point number 2 for Penn State, and Penn State wins the second set, 25-20.
A little bit of jitters there, I think, for Minnesota. That's kind of their freshman experience coming through. No one willing to step up and take the aggressive shots they need to close out that match, or close out that set. I'm sorry.
A barn burner in the first set. 12 lead changes, 2 7-1 runs for both teams. Minnesota serving for that first set 3 times. Penn State hanging in, and then also able to take the second set. And you start to wonder, Beth, all that effort, we already talked about it, and now you're sitting at a 2-0 deficit. It's going to be hard to overcome that.
This is a very tough situation to be down 2 to the best team in the country, but you've been in there the whole time. That's the thing. 20-25 is not a bad result. They need to look at that and know that they've been playing with Penn State this whole match, and they have the ability to step up and win this third set.
The pad was sold out well in advance. Standing room only and a little quiet right now as Penn State trying to earn a share of a Big Ten title with Nebraska. They lead it 2-0 over the Minnesota Golden Gophers right here on the Big Ten Network. So Penn State, not an easy run. They had to go to Madison, right? They lost that first set, came back and won the next 3, and now they come in. Minnesota, as we've said several times, serving for that first set. 3 times they get that first set, and now they're 1 set away from a share of the Big Ten title.
That's right. Wisconsin gave them a fight last night. It wasn't an easy match. Simone Lee really came alive, kind of carried her team a little bit, and tonight Haley Washington stepping up and carrying this team while Simone Lee kind of plays a more supportive role, and they've really had to fight. This is a young, fresh Minnesota team that's really feisty and trying to be championship spoilers here tonight.
Alexis Hart with 7 kills. Penn State, Kendall White serving here to start the third set. Penn State up 2-0. Here's Hart. Tooled at the net, flushed at the net by Lohman. That's exactly how the first set started, and Lohman, that first point.
Great adjustment here by Lohman. These are the types of points that Minnesota needs to win this set. They need to get the points that are easy, that are theirs. Simone Lee makes a little bit of an error. Lohman's putting it down, back to work.
That's so well said when you consider the all-out effort Minnesota showed. Put 2 free balls over for Penn State in that first set and won the point. The pad went crazy. Samity finishes. But here's the deal, as you think about Samity's kill right there, after all that effort, as Samity goes again, Penn State was able to respond.
Right, Samity does a great job there, though she's been hitting line all night. Penn State's been giving her line. They moved over a little bit, and she hits that nice cross-court shot, and her timing is just so difficult because she gets up so high. It's very difficult to defend.
Lee, first time, now Washington. She's going to set it far side for Franti. Franti, I think Lohman was there, so was Martin. Stays in, point Penn State.
Nealon is having a little bit of a tough night over there on the right side. They tried to get her going on the slide. It didn't work so well. Nice to see her there take a nice solid swing. She hits hands, and getting her some kills on the pins is really going to keep those middles open.
Great calls. Heidi Thielen, the senior. Here's Rosado. Lohman denied by Washington with a block.
Great timing by Haley Washington there. That's a difficult set. Lohman has had some success a couple feet away from the setter. You see Dietering stepping up there to assist, so Lohman is forced to go right into Washington.
Washington now with 4 blocks. Penn State. Well, they fall down 2-0. You think the Pavs going to start heating up, and once again, Penn State with 3 in a row.
A lot of composure on this team, a lot of experience.
Yana Weiskircher, redshirt junior. That may have hit tape. Seliger Swinson. Samity dug out by White. Cleaned up at the net by Weiskircher. Dietering goes across to Franti. Dug out by Minnesota. Samity tools it. Point Minnesota.
Great job there by Sammy. You might look at that and think, oh, she got lucky. No, she didn't get lucky. That's an intentional play there. She's only a freshman, but she's very talented at tooling the block, and you can tell because when she swings, she's swinging with her thumb down so that it hits the block and then forces it out of bounds.
Lohman serving 3-3, pops high in the air on a platter for Pittman.
We haven't called Pittman's name much in the second set. She started out really strong. Look for Minnesota to try to get her involved so that her pin hitters can start to open up.
Lohman, right first time, and Washington, she cranked it up, but it was deep.
She's asking for the ball again. Give me the next one, I'll put it down.
5-3, Minnesota. Target Lee almost every time. Here's Franti, and she's also, no, it's in. Say it caught the far sideline. 5-4. Franti serving now with 4 kills. Washington with 10, Lee with 9, Gorell with 6. Franti serving with 4, Seliger Swenson behind her. Samity first time, dumped over by Pittman. Good fake, everybody in the entire pad thought it was Samity.
I think she might have even faked out Reagan Pittman a little bit there. She's going up strong. I like that about her. She works very hard in transition. You don't see that skill a lot in freshmen. She does a great job, not a great contact, but still gets a kill for her team.
Washington down the middle, cleaned up by Rosado. She has been diving all over the floor on senior night. Point Penn State.
Point Penn State. Back to match number 11, back to serve in Washington.
Penn State serving. Penn State with 5 service aces, 3 service errors. Dug out, but out of bounds. Point Minnesota.
Great swing there by McLean. She's coming off the bench, hasn't seen a lot of action tonight, but able to take a nice hard swing. She's got 1 blocker. If you give 1 blocker to anyone in the Big Ten, which Seliger Swenson is great at doing, high chance they're going to get a kill.
Swenson with 29 assists. Is Brittany McLean off the bench for Coach Hugh McCutcheon. Minnesota up 7-5, Lee. Hart gonna keep it alive, a free one here for Penn State. Minnesota's been able to deal with free ones. Lee will make them pay right through Samity.
Great defensive effort there by Minnesota. We'll see a dig here. Lee's got 1 blocker. 9 times out of 10, she's putting that ball down. Minnesota does a great job of getting it up, but they give Penn State a free ball. And when you give Penn State a free ball, chances are they're putting it down.
Hammered at the net by Gorell.
It's exciting to see Gorell get more involved offensively. She's only a sophomore. She hasn't had a ton of offensive action, and she usually has this very high, kind of lanky swing. I've seen her tonight speed it up in a more traditional middle style, and it's been really effective.
Hart able to tool it at the net, and Minnesota looking strong here in the 3rd set.
Take a look at Alexis Hart. This is her signature swing. This is a very fast, high set. She's able to see hands and make a great tool.
Knocking it off of Thielen's hand. Rosado.
Great tip by Lee. She's got a lot of shots, and one of the reasons that tip shot is so successful for her is she shows it very late. She's not doing her, slow approach with weak arms. She's doing strong arms, high elbow, and then at the last second showing tip.
So Simone Lee joins Washington with 10 kills. Service error for Penn State. That's their 4th. They go with 5 service aces.
Seliger Swenson back to serve.
Back and forth right now. Minnesota able to hang on to that 3-point lead. Here's Franti. Dug out by the Gophers, leaving it for Hart. Lauren Barnes, back row with the dig.
Minnesota's defense is the story of the night, Dean. Look at Lauren Barnes here. She lines up in the seam. She sees that there's a hole in the block. She gets her body in the seam, and then Swenson's able to get Hart one-on-one, and she puts that ball down. Great execution.
Ace as they go right to Lee.
Looks like the defense could be getting in Penn State's head a little bit. Defense is a momentum builder. They've been going after Lee all night. She's moving to her left. That's a difficult pass. She wants to swing out right. Very strategic game Minnesota's playing here.
Seliger Swenson with 2 service aces for the Golden Gophers. Right first time, Dietering. Squirrell cleaned up Samity. Samity with the kill. 15 kills for the freshman.
Carrying so much for this freshman team. She's a great outlet there on the right side. We've talked about before Minnesota not having a true right side in quite some time. And the timing that she has, even on an offset, when the set's in, when the set's out, she's able to take the same approach and get the same great strong swing.
Minnesota's 4-0 run ended by that service error from Seliger Swenson. She's only the 2nd service error for the Gophers.
She's okay with that error. In my mind, she's okay with that error. She served very tough, got Penn State out of system, got a great string of points for her team.
Kendall White targets Barnes. Samity. Good block over there by Washington and Franti. Franti, cross court, perfectly placed. Who's gonna stop that?
Franti showing that National Freshman of the Year skills that she's got. She's still got it. See here, perfect set. She sees the block doesn't adjust and move in, and she swings hard cross right underneath.
White, a little speed off of that. Minnesota was ready. And Hart able to answer the Franti kill.
White serving short, and what's usually happening when a player is serving short is they're trying to mess up the play on the other side. They might have a play where middles are crossing or outsides are moving across the net. Didn't quite work there. Minnesota scoops it up. Hart gets all the way out and takes the full approach.
Minnesota up 5. Hart denied by Franti and Washington. Franti got most of it.
Great discipline there by Franti. She's used to Minnesota running a nice aggressive pipe out of the back row. This is an off-speed shot. It's out of system. They have to wait, and then jump at the last minute.
So see if Penn State can put a run together. Remember the first set, both teams had 7-1 runs. Samity, that's back-to-back work at the net from Franti.
Great job by Franti there. She's one-on-one. Washington doesn't make it out to help her block, so the strategy there is to go after the ball. It's a tight set, so she puts her hands directly on the ball and pushes over.
13 blocks for the Penn State Nittany Lions. Minnesota comes back with a big point, keeping that 4-point lead. Hart and Samity, the youngsters for the Minnesota Golden Gophers, keeping Minnesota in it. And Bradley, and she was there. So nice to have her family overcoming the hurricane as well, Beth.
Definitely. What a special time for Dalian Liz. Thanksgiving is a tough time of year for Big Ten volleyball players. You don't always get to go home. You don't always get to see family. So you have to lean on each other for support. And when you do get to see family, it's really important.
Slide from Washington. What a great point as Russ Rose talking about just trying to keep things normal. On Thanksgiving Day, they had a meal in Happy Valley and then just right on schedule. Flew into Wisconsin, practice, game, travel, practice, game. So, well, you're right, it's tough.
Those are the times you lean on your teammates.
Once again, a little tip by Pittman.
Point you. Stephanie Samity back to serve.
So Samity serving. She's got 15 kills in the game. Career high for the freshman is 26. She had against Boise State. Perfect placement from Washington, who prior to that one was hitting 409. That'll go up. She's always 400-500.
I know we talk about 409, and for anyone else, that's fantastic. For Haley Washington, it's a little bit low, which sounds silly to say, but she's that good. And she's showing it there. She's had a lot of success in front of the setter and showing how she can be good off of 1 foot behind as well.
So add a service ace to her stat line that also includes 5 blocks and 2 digs. 12 kills. More importantly, it's put Penn State back within 2. Hugh McCutcheon wants to talk it over as they've been holding that 4 and 5 point lead, but Penn State crawling back into this one.
Definitely. Penn State wants to get this done in 3 deep. They don't want to give Minnesota a shot to get back into this match. They want to finish this in 3. Get a part of that Big Ten championship, go home and prepare for the NCAA tournament, maybe get some rest. Coach Rose has talked about something that makes a team successful in the NCAA tournament is a team that's well rested. So they're looking to get in, get out, but Minnesota is looking again to be a championship spoiler.
Russ Rose feeling pretty relaxed, and a big reason, one of the best players in the country, Haley Washington.
She's been so good tonight, so effective. You see here going behind the setter, and she runs a lot of different sets behind. She runs one really tight to the setter, one kind of in the middle, and all the way out. And as a blocker, that's so confusing, and you don't know what to do. And then you've got someone who's celebrating like that, and the momentum really carries Penn State.
Celebrating with Simone Lee. I asked Russ Rose when I talked to him on Thanksgiving night, who's going to win the MVP? And he's like, I'm just actually glad I didn't have to vote for one of the players on my team. He's not allowed to. It could be Washington. It could be Lee. Perhaps, though, they're going to split votes, and it could be somebody else. So many great players in the Big Ten.
Right, and I think this weekend has been a perfect example of how talented these 2 women are. Last night, Lee really took over against Wisconsin. Tonight, Washington stepping up. They have each other's back.
12 kills for Washington. Pittman on the slide, denied. So they go middle, Samity, and then Pittman, Pittman turned to celebrate. Had to look again. Penn State thought they had the pancake. I guess not. You see Pittman turn to celebrate. He's like, whoa, hang on.
She's thinking that ball's down. Penn State actually got that ball up. The call looks like it was a double hit on Brianna Weiskircher there. Can't stop playing until you hear the whistle.
Weiskircher and Dietering, both phenomenal setters, and part of the decision to go 6-2. Lee in rhythm, denied at the net.
See Pittman getting excited there. She's not ready to let Penn State walk out. She wants to finish this set. A little bit late here on her block, but she takes good footwork. Little last-ditch effort there, pushing over. Style doesn't always count. Getting it in the court counts. Great job there by Reagan Pittman.
Timeout for Penn State. They want to talk it over. And you think about the power of coaching, the power of the timeout. Hugh McCutcheon saw Penn State cut that 4 or 5 point lead to 2. They come right back. They've got a 4-point lead, and speed is always the reason for Hugh McCutcheon and the Minnesota Golden Gophers.
They're so successful partly because they run such a fast offense. Even to the outside, you see Alexis Hart there with a really fast set. Again to Samade with a big fast set. And the thing that's also really good about their fast speed is that it's high and fast. And those are 2 of the best things in volleyball.
Here's how fast they are. You can't catch a Corvette. You can't catch an all-star running back and forget about a cheetah. Minnesota's attack, 2.5 seconds.
And what we're talking about there is the time that from the pass to when they set to when the ball hits the ground. So from pass to hitting the ground, 2.5 seconds. And what that means is there's no lobs here for Minnesota. Their pass is on par to the setter, and their sets are high and fast, making the blocks move very hard.
Big night on the Big Ten Network. Nebraska already celebrating. You saw their head coach John Cook holding the trophy high with his team in Lincoln. And the Pav here, this sold out some time ago. Minnesota was able to knock off Penn State last year. They're hoping to do it again, but Penn State taking the first 2 sets. Minnesota serving up 18-14 in the third set. Burrell, the kill. It's 8 kills for Burrell.
Like Coach Rockwell said, there's opportunities in the middle right now. They're doing some pretty great passing over there on the Penn State side of the net, and they're going to take advantage of it and get their middles involved, both Haley Washington and Burrell.
So Dietering serving. She has 19 assists. Seliger Swenson, speaking of assists, she's got 36.
And speaking of speed, oh my gosh, that was such a fast back row attack. It looks more like a front row attack. I would guess that the Penn State blockers thought it might have been too. Right above the net, she comes in, jumping from behind the 10-foot line, leaning, reaching, landing well in front of it. Very effective play there.
Seliger Swenson loving what Samity brings. Through Rosado, and Penn State cuts the lead to 3 again.
Nice adjustment there by Thielen. She's trying to run a slide approach, and you can see her laughing about it a little bit now. She's trying to run a slide approach, but she's very early, so she plants her feet and takes a nice hard jump and swings as hard as she can. Nice adjustment. That's senior leadership and versatility right there.
Penn State serving third set, down 3, 19-16. Hart denied by the Nittany Lions.
Thielen getting it done offensively and defensively. Take a look at her here. She's planted, she waits, goes up strong, pushes over the net, and the ball goes straight down.
Service error. Penn State, that's their 5th bath to go with 6 service aces.
That's a tough service error. I always say that 1st to 20 is a huge point in volleyball. 1st to 20, you've only got 5 points to get back in there.
Seliger Swenson. Like that was going to go deep. Kept alive though by Barnes. Hart dug out by White. Point though, Minnesota.
Alexis Hart stepping up here. Not the greatest passing from her team right now, so she's getting a lot of balls and she's taking really smart shots. She's not just swinging right into the meat of the block, hoping she finds a seam. She's seeing the block in front of her and picking her shots carefully.
Gophers 4 away from forcing a 4th set. Planting. Swenson, Seliger Swenson able to clean that up. The dump, the pancake. We're seeing it all here. Excellent rally. Rosado goes behind her to Hart's and trouble. And the Pav is electric right now, 22-17.
They like those rallies over there in the Pav. They get some energy from them. A couple kind of timid plays that I wasn't so crazy about in that rally, and then you see Penn State at the end there with a little bit of a miscommunication. You'd like to see teams be aggressive at the end here in those types of rallies.
Nobody gonna leave the Pav tonight here this Thanksgiving weekend. Lead because Minnesota's defense keeping them in the game.
Definitely, Minnesota is playing such strong defense. You see there, Dalian Liz Rosado, she takes her first step towards the ball. That's what makes a great defender. You don't step back, you don't do a little hop, you take your first step towards the ball. There you see Barnes too. She sees the block and is able to read a hole through it, step in and be aggressive. Defense isn't a passive skill, it's an aggressive skill, and they're doing a great job in the backcourt with Minnesota tonight.
Well done to point out Barnes. She's got 6 digs off the bench. Seliger Swenson, 7 assists to go with her 37. That's 8 games in a row where she's had at least 35 assists. Listen, Gaynor also off the bench with 9 digs. And how about Stephanie Samity? A little double-double here, taking on the #1 team in the country. 16 kills, 10 digs.
She's so talented, and I think she has a huge upside. When we talked to Coach McCutcheon about her, he says, you know, she has a lot to learn, and she's leading his team in kills. So she has a huge upside, and she's only going to get better, taking on a huge load for this Minnesota team, being offensive in all 6 rotations.
15th double-double this season, her freshman campaign. 22-17, Minnesota 3 away from extending this match. Point though, Penn State, Thielen.
Thielen's had a couple of nice kills when Penn State has needed them. Not going to her all that much tonight, but stepping in when she needs to.
Penn State has to go on a run here if they want to try to end it through 3. Tooling, the block is Hart. Samity, the freshman, Hart, the sophomore.
This is a young team. They're going to get so much better. Here you see Hart. She sees that Washington is late. She's not just swinging at nothing. She sees that Washington is late, and she's going to attack her hands with a great tool. That's a very difficult play and shows a lot of experience that she's learning.
Hart, kill with the serve. Dietering, back to Thielen. Thielen tools it, gets the point back.
Another one of those great kills for Thielen, kind of one of those unsung heroes on this Penn State team. She's a senior. She's solid over there on the right side. She's not going to maybe hit the 10-foot line like Simone Lee, but she's going to get her kills when she needs to.
It's fitting that Garrell was over her shoulder as those two have come up big for Russ Rose and Penn State. Franti. Dietering will clean it up.
Nice reactionary play by Dietering. She's so quick at the net. She has great eye movement. She sees the ball and is able to jump and act quick, put it straight down. (23-20). Penn State, great serve. Washington. That was cleaned up by Minnesota. Alyssa Gaynor, but point Penn State. Another one of those great digs by Minnesota, but then they need to get Penn State on their heels with some strong offense. Defense alone isn't going to get them the points they need to pull this set out. Great dig there by Gaynor, but then a free ball over to Penn State, and they're able to put it away. They've got to put 2 and 2 together. They've got to get that great dig and still take a great swing as well.
Tomorrow, the 9th-ranked Badgers hit the ice to square off with Mercyhurst. It's Big Ten hockey tomorrow at 6 Eastern right here on BTN and streaming live on the BTN To Go app. Minnesota, 23. Penn State on a run here with 21. #1 team in the country, the Penn State Nittany Lions, #8 team in the country. As we take a look around the conference, keep in mind the Nebraska Cornhuskers already earning a share of the Big Ten title, knocking off Iowa at the Devaney Center. Illinois beat the Buckeyes in 5.
Illinois also took a match off of Minnesota this year. They're a great team. They've got some young outside hitters, but they're really improving, and I think they're going to continue to get better as they go into the NCAA tournament and the season goes on.
Michigan State, that's a team that Russ Rose pointed out as a team that you want to stay away from in the bracket. He also said of the 64 teams that'll get in, 50 of them at least have won 6 in a row. And that's what you got to do to win a national championship, as Penn State has cut the lead to 1. A little bit of nerves now settling in for this young Minnesota team. Replaced the Tapp sisters and the player of the year in Sarah Wilhite. And denied at the net, Samity. And just like that, the game is tied.
We've seen this from Penn State all night. Minnesota has been at them. Minnesota has been shaking them up a little bit, and then at the end, when it counts, they come through and they execute flawlessly.
Weiskircher, Penn State on a 5-0 run to tie it. The serve knocking Minnesota back on their heels. Washington denied. The dump from Dietering, cleaned up by Rosado. Lee first time, Franti denied. Here we go, 23 all, Franti. Through Gaynor, Gaynor with the dig at the net. How many touches? Still alive, 3-1. Minnesota with the set and hammered home for the Gophers.
The crowd loving that one. Minnesota's defense keeping them in all night, and they finally get one of these big rallies where they're able to put it down on their terms. A nice free ball. Samity gets all the way out, takes a full approach, and a great swing.
Lead first, Weiskircher, Franti. Gaynor, who is digging everything out of that back row, but short for Minnesota.
Penn State looking to capitalize on this error. Difficult to give them that type of point towards the end of this match.
Franti has been phenomenal on this run. Keep in mind it was 23-18, Minnesota on top. Penn State able to tie it, and back and forth we go. Tied at 24s. Shura off the bench for the serve, denied. Samity again.
Samity is really the hot hand right now. Look for them to continue to go to her, even when she's in the back row. We might see that really fast, aggressive pipe set.
Second set point here for Minnesota. You're just joining us. They had 3 set points they were looking for in that first set, but Penn State won at 29-27. Weiskircher over to Washington. Blocked at the net. Rosado, McLean, and McLean off the bench, right through White. And Minnesota will extend the action. They win the third set.
What a great victory for Minnesota. McLean does a great job there, taking a nice aggressive swing. That's what you want to see at the end of these pressure sets. You want to see aggressive swings. You don't want to see anyone acting tentatively. You want to see these teams fight, and that's what we're going to see tonight.
But denied, and then they gave up that 23-18 lead, but able to survive and win that third set, so 2-4 set we go. Samity, Lee. Knocked over by Thielen. Hart tools it at the net.
The defense in this match has been phenomenal. That dig by Lee, reaching all the way out, fantastic, but then Minnesota's able to capitalize in it. The story of this match, great defense, and then whoever can put the ball away is going to win.
They get quiet for the service. Finished by Washington. We're tied at 1.
What an adjustment there by Washington. Great job. The set's a little bit high. The communication maybe a little bit off there. The connection a little bit off. But she's still able to put the ball in play aggressively.
15 kills, hitting .433 for Washington. Giving the serve back to Penn State. Tied at 1 here in the fourth set. Seliger Swenson on a platter. Hart right through Lee, and it's 2-1.
How fun to watch Alexis Hart hit like that. But I'm going to draw your attention to the pass here. Perfect pass, and then you see Lohman drawing the blockers, and Alexis Hart is able to have that fantastic, impressive hit because of her teammates, because she's got other people playing around her and supporting her, giving her one-on-one options.
That perfect pass coming from Lauren Barnes. Hart serving. Slide, but they go back to Dietering. This time, they go near side to Franti. Next time will probably be Washington if she gets a chance. No, they'll come back to Franti. Now Samity, cleaned up by Lee. Franti again, third time. Rosado with the dig. Smacked at the net by Washington for the kill.
Again, the defense so phenomenal on both sides of the net. But what Minnesota needs to do if they want to stay in this set is to control their defense. Get a great dig and then also give a great strong attack. Don't give Penn State free balls because they're going to put them down.
Allie Franti, the senior, with the serve. Cleaned up. Minnesota, they returning to celebrate again. Remember this play. Dug again by White. Dietering with that left hand. Blocked it, slowed down at the net. Minnesota, they had turned to celebrate. They had to stay with it, and they still get the point.
I'm impressed with that swing by McLean. She's in transition. Seliger Swenson is getting her this super fast set off of an off-speed ball, and she's able to take a really great, strong approach, even though she's got a little bit of room and only a couple steps.
43 assists for Seliger Swenson to go with 9 digs. Simone Lee, when in doubt, find number 22.
Unstoppable. That's an unstoppable one. She's doing it on both ends here. She gets the pass here, and then up and swinging. That's one of those ones for Minnesota. You say, nice hit. You roll the ball under the net and say, good job.
Service air for Washington after the kill from Lee. Minnesota, the 4-3 lead. Washington going to take a break. Stephanie Samity, 15th double-double of her freshman campaign. 18 kills, 10 digs. Burrell knocked it over. Off the net, kept alive. Minnesota's got time. Seliger Swenson picks her poison. It's Samity. Lee through Samity. And Lee with another kill. That's 12.
Lee heating up a little bit and showing that she can run fast sets in transition too. You see her there. Weiskircher gets her a really fast ball. She takes a very fast approach, and in her traditional Simone Lee form, puts it down.
Dietering serving 4-4, fourth set. Penn State up 2-1. Tip. Pittman. Boy, her touch at the net has been outstanding.
That's such a strategic and a finesse shot that's difficult, because if you put it too far behind the block, you see Kendall White there ready to pick it up. You put it right over the blocker's hands, and then you'll usually catch him reaching back like that.
Dietering to Lee. They'll go off of the fingers of Minnesota, and here comes Simone Lee. You did such a good job, Beth, talking about Haley Washington stepping up, but now it may be Simone Lee time.
These two players have each other's backs. They definitely do. When one is not having the best time, the other steps up, and they create holes for each other. It's really a great pair.
Minnesota answer a phenomenal service from Lee, and they take the point right back.
Point you. Check back into the match. Girls saddle back to serve.
Hey, let's go. Gotta make a play out there.
Seliger Swenson, third time in last 4 games with 45 assists. Dietering. Out of bounds, just too deep that time from Thielen.
Hey, let's go. Come on, Tori. Let's go. You gotta drive. You gotta drive. It's your ball, Tori.
Great shot of Rosado. Franti denied. Lee kept alive. Dietering. Penn State, Garrell was turning. You can't turn on either team. But Penn State able to get the point.
Burrell working very hard in transition. A key for middles is to be up in the air on every play. So even if you're back behind the setter, if you're off the net, if you're on the net, get off and get back on. Be an option for your setter every play in transition. Burrell does that there, and it pays off.
Take care of the court real quick. Stephanie Samity. 18 kills, 11 digs, 2 blocks.
This is a woman that never takes a break. She's a freshman, she's on the court all the time, and they're looking to her offensively in every rotation.
White. Sometimes she'll serve with speed, sometimes she'll take a little bit off. That time, the ladder. Lee, perfect placement. And you can see her eyes. She saw the opening and put it there perfectly.
Right, I think a lot of people that are new to volleyball think that you're just hitting to get it in the court. No, you're seeing open spots. You have teammates. I'm sure Kendall White was telling her where the open spot on the court was, and you're strategically aiming for certain spots.
Out of system. 3-1 here for Penn State. Denied at the net. Well, Seliger Swenson just does it all. There she is back on the set, looking for Hart. Hart denied by Washington. It's a block party, 16 blocks for Penn State.
They are just camped out on her there. Look at Haley Washington closing pin to pin, and then you see some emotion. She's ready to be a Big Ten champ, and she's ready to get on to the NCAA tournament.
Long way to go, 8-7. Seliger Swenson, perfect for Lohman.
I like that play call. I think right after a big block on the outside, you need to get your middles involved. Get Haley Washington to question herself. Get her to not take that first step over to the pin, and so she can stay with Lohman, giving Hart just a little bit of a hole maybe next time that she can squeeze the ball through.
Seliger Swenson serving 8-8. Minnesota down 2-1. Washington now with 17 kills.
And hitting clear over the block on that one. Setting very high, reaching very high. It's very difficult to defend.
Penn State can clinch a share of the Big Ten title. Amazingly, it'll be their first title since 2013, but their 17th overall. Hart able to tool it at the net. Penn State scrambling, but can't save it. Hart now with 16 kills.
That's a great decision by Seliger Swenson. Hart getting blocked a couple times. She's going to go right back to her. This gives her hitter confidence, and Hart, as a sophomore, showing a lot of confidence. She's going to swing as hard as she can, take aggressive swings, and not be taken aback by the Penn State block.
Hart serving 9-9. Washington cross court hammer.
Minnesota really doesn't have an answer for her right now, team. She's hitting all over the court, behind the setter. Again, she has that quick behind, a little bit further behind, and all the way out to the pin. The blockers are still moving around. They need to find her, plant, and get up. Maybe even lean her way a little bit, leave the outside open so that they can stop her.
Weiskircher with 21 assists to go with Dietering's 28. Russ Rose going with that 6-2, and it's working. And Lee with kill number 15.
Great swing by Lee. That's the in-rhythm, perfect play that Penn State wants on that free ball. If I'm Minnesota, I'm trying to give them a little bit more of an aggressive free ball. Don't give them the lollipop. Make them play. Get them out of system as best as you can, because when they're in system, they're going to put balls away like that.
Emily Shora get the call again from Russ Rose. Into press row is Shora. Gotta love that effort.
For the Golden Gophers, Frank checks in for Penn State. Lohman back to serve.
Both of these teams not willing to give up. They're going to fight for every point.
Penn State up 11-10. Kept alive, Samity. Trying to dig it out there was White, but Samity with a game-high 20 kills.
Samity pretty excited about that point, and I'm pretty excited about that point too. This is showing how versatile she is and how experienced she is even as a freshman. It's a quick set. She doesn't have a full approach, but she doesn't always need a full approach. A lot of times you'll see freshman hitters that need that big approach to get up and get power. She can hit the ball from anywhere at any time with just a couple steps.
Washington inside set.
Again, Minnesota not really having an answer for Washington. If Penn State is going to get a good pass, Washington's gonna get a kill. You see there, her momentum is going cross court, but yet she's still able to bring so much power across her body that's so unique to her and really a valuable skill she has.
Hit percentage up near 500, 486. Scramble here for Minnesota. Free for Penn State. Lee with that freedom gets the kill. It's 13-11.
Wow, what a great swing. She swings right inside the block, and the reason that she's so successful there is because of Haley Washington. It sounds a little bit strange, but the plays before, Haley's been killing it in the middle so that you saw Reagan Pittman hesitate. She doesn't get over all the way to close, and Simone Lee's able to take advantage.
Samity, the ball was behind her. Weiskircher tried the dump, read by Minnesota. Weiskircher behind her, Dietering. Samity, and another free one. The crowd loves it. Penn State cannot make them pay, so now Minnesota try to get back in rhythm, denied at the net. Samity, second chance. Cleaned up again. Here we go, Lee. And Simone Lee, 17 kills.
When in doubt, give the ball to Lee. She's so capable. Even when she has a big block in front of her, she's able to power through.
Right there as Penn State serving up 14-11 here in the fourth set. 2 sets to 1 for the Nittany Lions, and Lee with the block.
Great block by Lee, and she's getting really excited, but I'm going to give that credit to the serve. The serve gets Minnesota out of system, and usually Seliger Swenson can make it as if they are back in system. She's so good, and she has so much accuracy, but they're taking kind of a weak swing there, and they're able to line up Penn State's block right in front.
We were tied at 11. It's a 4-0 run for Penn State. Lee down the line, efficient, power. Kill for number 22.
When we talk about player of the year, that's the play I want them to show. So impressive here. She has 2 very big, very skilled blockers in front of her, and she threads it down the line with a ton of power.
Just getting a little bit of paint. Samity denied that time. Cleaned up by Lee, doing it all. Now Lee will just knock over a free one. Samity puts a little spin on it, rotation, and she's got 21 kills.
This is something that Hugh McCutcheon says that Samity's been working on, not just hitting her shot or the shot that she likes, but hitting the shot that's given to her. So Samity, we see, she likes to bang it over blocks. Here, she sees a hole open, her teammates are talking to her, and she takes the shot that was given to her.
Samity off the kill with the serve. Lee in rhythm, denied at the net. Block for Minnesota.
Minnesota does a great job there. They've been in front of her a couple times. Here they're in front of her, but this time they don't let her push them back. They're going to use this. Blocks build momentum.
Service error for Minnesota. They've been so good. Just 3 service errors as we're in the fourth set.
Their serving has been really lights out all night. They've been going after Lee, getting Penn State out of system. Penn State has adjusted a little bit, and we talked about blocks building momentum, service errors. Those are momentum breakers.
Close. I thought it was in. Say out of bounds though. Dietering trying to find that back corner for Russ Rose at Penn State.
Hey, Abby, come on, you gotta be better than that.
You can just hear him, you gotta be better than that. She nods her head.
She knows. She knows that.
17-14, Minnesota serving down 3, Lee. The dig for the Golden Gophers. Hart thought that Penn State got a piece of it, but it was too deep.
Great dig there by Minnesota defense. And we've talked about this before. They've had great defense all night. They're getting great touches. They're getting great ups, but they need to be able to string both skills together. They need to get a great dig and finish it with a consistent, strong attack.
18-14, Penn State up by 4. Seliger Swenson. Set behind, Hart. Point goes back to Minnesota, cutting the lead to 3. It was outside the antenna.
Logan checks back in on that. Rosado back to serve.
Rosado, too deep. Just when you start talking about serving efficiency, that's 2 service errors here in the last 5 points as Rosado goes deep.
And sometimes those service errors, they can be contagious. You see your teammate make an error, you go back there, you're thinking about their error, and you're trying to be aggressive at the same time. You need to calm down a little bit, play their volleyball, nice aggressive serves inbounds.
Pretty good serve from White. Hart. Deering. Franti. Here we go again. Hart. Perfect placement. And a point, Minnesota. The serve from White knocked him out of system. Minnesota recovered second time around.
Minnesota does a great job here in transition. Alexis getting a full approach all the way out so she can take a nice strong swing. And you see Swenson. I like when she looks across the net. As she's about to set, she'll look across the net, see her blockers, and then make a decision. Very strategic, smart play.
19-16, Seliger Swenson with the service. Washington, full crank, arm speed, kill.
And we're talking a little bit about the service errors here, Dean. Maybe one of the reasons for the service errors for Minnesota is they're trying to get Washington out of the game. They need to serve tough. That's the only way they're going to stop her, is if they prevent her from getting the ball, because right now their defense is having a lot of trouble picking her up.
Washington has 20 kills. Here comes a free one for Penn State. Minnesota has been able to handle those free ones. Not this time. Penn State, they're 4 away from a share of the Big Ten title.
Penn State is looking to close this one here in 4, Dean. Coming out in a 5th set at the Pavilion with this crowd is going to be really tough. They want to close this out. And Minnesota is looking to inch their way back into this. And it's got to start with a great pass so that they can have all options.
Look at Hugh McCutcheon. The job he's done, keep in mind, he's only been there 6 years. He's already been the 2-time National Coach of the Year. You lose Hannah Tapp, Paige Tapp, and the Player of the Year in Sarah Wilhite. And here you are, you come into this game number 8 in the country. That is legitimate.
And it's funny when you hear the players, the veteran players like Molly Lohman, talk about how this preseason started, and then the season started, and she says, it doesn't really feel much different. They've lost the Player of the Year, and it doesn't feel much different. That's pretty impressive, and that, like you said, Dean, is attributable to coaching and really bringing in these young players and developing them so that they can step up and be really effective in these roles.
Meanwhile, Haley Washington with 20 assists, trying to clinch a share of the Big Ten title. 20 kills, of course, 5 digs, 7 blocks, and 1 assist for Washington.
Here's that little slide in front that I love, that's so deceptive for blockers, then going behind, and we've talked about her different sets, different variations behind. She's hitting all different angles. Blockers and defense don't know how to pick her up.
How about that number in the middle? You said it needed to be there, and there it is, 5-0-0. Special delivery for Beth Karpiak.
Thanks, Dean.
Hart with the kill. Minnesota not done yet.
Between checks back in the match for the Golden Gophers, Alexis Hart back to serve.
Hart waiting for the whistle. She got it. 21-17. Tate. Wise Kircher. Washington. What can you do with that? She has 21 kills to tie Stephanie Samity for a game high.
Minnesota's got to get this ball back, and then they have to serve tough and get Washington out of this match.
Service error for Penn State. That's 8 for the Nittany Lions. Samity, the freshman, up for the challenge.
Your pass.
Lohman, one of 4 seniors celebrating senior night here at the PAB in Minnesota. Lee down the line. 19 kills for Lee.
Wow, again, 2 big blockers in front of her, giving her only an inch of line. Maybe not even that. She's able to hit over them and paint that line.
There's a challenge on the floor.
Challenge. McCutcheon talking to his team. It's so easy to get caught up with the power of Washington and Lee. 40 kills between the two. In or out, Beth?
That looks like the call's going to stand for me. Maybe not conclusive evidence that it was out, so I would guess that the call in the gym will stand. And then also here, take a look. As the ball is going down, it switches directions just a little bit and maybe a touch off the shoulder of Samity there.
The call is confirmed. Simone Lee with 19 kills and doing a great job on stats tonight. Steve Shucker telling me that Washington's 21 kills, a season high. So special delivery for number 15, now hitting .514. Great dig, Gainer. She's been so good. Speaking of digs, Simone Lee gets low. Dietering out of bounds.
Minnesota's defense getting the best of Penn State there. If you keep coming at them, they are going to make errors.
Afraid to compete out there.
Penn State 2 away. Lee again with a dig. As Lee 1 dig away from her double-double. Seliger Swenson, Samity, back row. Samity, 22 kills.
Minnesota looking to make safe plays now. They want to do stuff that they know works, and they know that Samity's hot, especially out of the back row. So they're going to get her that easy.
Timeout here for Russ Rose and the Penn State Nittany Lions. Wants to finish the job, and it is 17th Big Ten title. 39 amazing years for Russ Rose.
And no sign of stopping.
Well, no, Smiling Bob Warming retired after 40 years in soccer, the last 8 at Penn State, and Russ Rose said he's going to keep on going. Why not? As they look to earn another Big Ten title. Congratulations, by the way, to Nebraska. Back-to-back Big Ten titles. That is not easy.
Definitely not. When Nebraska joined the Big Ten, we knew that they were going to bring a lot of strength to this conference. And with back-to-back titles, they've proven that they belong here and they're going to run this conference. And they've just put a great program into the Big Ten. And kudos to John Cook and congratulations to Nebraska.
So Penn State, they won it in 92, 93, 96 through 99 every year, 03 through 2010, and they won it in 12 and 13. And they look to win it again. It was Wisconsin in 14, this Golden Gopher team in 15, and as we just told you, Nebraska last year. Big Ten of volleyball, all those teams in the top 45. Last year, all Big Ten teams in the top 45 made it to the NCAA tournament.
And if history repeats itself, we're looking at a good showing for the Big Ten in the NCAA tournament.
Stephanie Samity, 22 kills, 13 digs, 15 double-doubles in a freshman campaign. Lee right through the block, tipped. And Penn State a point away from a share of the Big Ten title. Dietering serving for the title. Rosado first time, Seliger Swenson at the net, and the Nittany Lions will share the Big Ten title with Nebraska. Penn State, your Big Ten co-champions, led by their seniors, Haley Washington, 21 kills, Simone Lee, 20 kills.
Congratulations to Russ Rose and his Nittany Lions. They really showed why they are #1 in the country. Minnesota putting up great defense all night, and Penn State always having the answer, whether it be Simone Lee with her great line shots, whether it be Haley Washington from the outside, and Abby Dietering dishing it to everyone all night, showing that they have balance and that they have what it takes to be co-Big Ten champions.
Great showing from this young Minnesota Golden Gopher team that will be dangerous in the NCAA tournament on senior day. You see the seniors getting together. Meanwhile, Penn State, though, the #1 team in the country, moves to 29-1. And more importantly tonight, for Simone Lee and the Nittany Lions, 19-1 in the Big Ten, same record as Nebraska, co-champs.
Great year for both programs, two of the powerhouses in volleyball across the country. It's fitting that they finished top of the Big Ten as co-champions, and I'm excited to see how this plays out in the NCAA tournament.
Haley Washington, 21 kills, 5 digs, 7 blocks, 18 blocks, which is the most this year in the Big Ten. Defensively, you get it done. Congratulations on being Big Ten champs again. What's it mean, Haley?
It's incredible. We've never had the opportunity this senior class, so it's just awesome to be able to represent the university this way, and we're honored.
Haley, are you going to get to rest at all before the NCAA tournament? What's the plan for the team?
Tomorrow is Sunday. I get to take a long nap, and then we're back on the grind. We have a lot left to do.
You mentioned that senior class, the Washington and Lee connection. How special is it, Haley?
It's incredible, and it's just been an honor and a blessing to have been able to play with her these 4 years, and it's something that I've not taken for granted, and I'm just humbled and so blessed to be able to play with her. She's awesome.
All right, enjoy your Big Ten title. Good luck in the NCAA tournament.
Thank you so much.
What a smile. So first Washington, how about Simone Lee and her 20 kills?
Not off to the greatest start tonight, but then she comes back swinging hard. Even when she has 2 blocks, she was able to thread that line right there, paint it right on the end. So effective and so difficult to defend.
Simone Lee, 20 kills, 5 digs, 8 blocks, and perhaps more importantly, as we just said to Haley Washington, a Big Ten title, Simone. That's pretty important.
Yeah, it's very exciting. We're so happy.
Simone, can you talk a little bit about the defensive support and the passing support you had from your teammates tonight?
Yeah, I mean, I think our passing was absolutely incredible. Kendall, Franny, I mean, there's passing nails out there, and I think just really scrappy on defense from all sides. I mean, our setters did a great job on the right back, and I think Kendall did a great job digging and reading those tips and hard hit balls, and I think that it was just such a great team win. I'm so happy.
All right, you've got the Big Ten title. Now the focus on another national championship for Penn State and Russ Rose. What do you got to do to bring home that trophy?
We just got to keep working as a team. I mean, honestly, there's nothing that we can't do when we have all cylinders running, and I think that that's something that we're just going to keep pushing for. Obviously, there's always things to improve on, always things to work on, and I think that it's something that we know, and we want to just keep improving for the next round. Simone
Lee, you're a Big Ten champion. Go enjoy it, okay?
All right, thank you.
Love that smile. Congratulations, that's going to wrap it up from the PAV in Minnesota, where Penn State knocks off the Golden Gophers in 4 sets. The Penn